It's your girl Becky, and today we are going to start our series on how to start urban sketching with just one pen and one sketchbook. You may see that my voice is not completely aligned with virtual me on the screen, and this is because I recorded this entire video on the side of the road. Rookie mistake. Urban sketching can be a bit daunting because if you're used to sketching at home, at the comforts of your own room, or even if you're just learning how to draw, urban sketching might be for you. Okay, maybe it's not for you, but it's worth a shot because drawing from life has a lot of benefits compared with drawing from photographs, because instead of copying one-to-one from a picture, you're instead training your eyes to take in the world around you and simplify those shapes. You also get to see the different nuances in the colors, the shadows, the way the light moves as well. It's a different ballgame from sketching from photos, but you just might like it once you give it a shot. First things first, finding a comfortable place to sketch. I actually prioritize finding a comfortable place versus finding something to draw, because there is always something to sketch, but not always a comfortable seat. Here I am picking a spot in the shade on this side of the seat so I won't be blinded by the sun. You'll be sitting here for a while, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or maybe even an hour, so you should totally make yourself comfortable. I've got my sketchbook, and I also have a bunch of different watercolor supplies. But today, we are going to use one pen. That's it. One pen and a sketchbook, as promised in the beginning of this video. Now that I'm sitting down, I noticed that there is so much to sketch. There's firstly this arch, which we are going to go for, but looking at my other options, there are these trees. I can sketch the playground in the distance. I can also sketch the foliage right here, or that building quite far back that is actually pretty nice. There is a whole plethora of scenes to sketch, and the key is to just pick one. Our goal here is not to create our masterpiece. Our goal here is to sketch. Just to grab that pen, grab that paper, and just start scribbling. So for today, we will focus on this arch. One of the best tips that I've heard about sketching is that you want to sketch in a book over the fold. And the reason for that is because when it's over the fold, it's kind of a different mindset. You're not sketching this to sell or to frame somewhere. You're just sketching this for you, for it to stay in your sketchbook. And it's for yourself, so there's not a lot of pressure to make the sketch perfect. Another tip is to use a pen. Don't use a pencil because you're going to be tempted to erase mistakes. Whereas if you use a pen, every line is permanent, so you just have to go along with it. And that's enough to get started, because once you add in the details, you won't really see the mistakes anymore. We're going to start with the big shapes. I'm just going to draw in the top of the arch that's going back in perspective towards the left of the sketchbook. This is a tricky arch to draw because in actuality, the beams that are on top holding the top of the arch have a slight curvature to it. There's also a round structure towards the sides. I made a mistake of overestimating the curvature and the angle, but we're just going to continue to roll with it. I'm going to go over my initial lines because now that I've laid in the right side of the arch, I can see that the left side needs correcting. And the goal here is not to get everything 100% correct. The goal here is to digest the shapes of these objects and simplify them as much as possible. How can you describe the scene with the least amount of strokes, the least amount of lines, the least amount of marks? There's a bush down here that will cover up most of the arch on the left side. The basic shape is here, and now we can draw everything else in. I'm starting with some foliage in the top left corner of my sketchbook, including some plants that are hanging out from the group. Now that the rough shape is in, we can start to do some shading or some hatching. This is a technique to fill in the values or the brightness/darkness of the image so you can differentiate the layers, the different brightness and darkness of all the different shapes, and contrast them with one another. So here, the top of the leaves are going to be bright because they are in the sunlight, and the lower part will be in shadow, or in other words, they will be dark. Hatching is simply done by putting lines perpendicular or slightly at an angle across to each other, and the more you do them, the more you overlap them, the darker it will be.
I need just a little taste, one kiss. Let's not overthink and live. No drink is a waste when the first it tastes the best. No drink is a waste when the first it tastes the best. No drink is a waste when the first it tastes the best. Bring the wine, we can run, we can run, we can we can run from daylight. Pull me close, this is one night only. Sugarcoat this memory. I had no intention to get so tempted.
After shading in the sides of the arch, we can clearly see that the right one has more of a different form or shape compared with the left, which we've just left as is for now.
Kiss, let's not overthink and live. No drink is a waste when the first tastes the best.
Now, as I'm shading in the rest, I am turning around my sketchbook to make sure that I am getting the lines in the direction that I want. For some bits of it, I'm going slightly off camera, but I promise I'll be back in a hot second.
No drink is a waste when the first tastes the best. No drink is a waste when the first tastes the best. All I need, yeah. All I want, yeah. I had no intention to get so tempted. Let's blend the Patron. No need to chase it all. No drink is a waste when the first tastes the best. No drink is a waste when the first tastes the best.
That's pretty much it. This whole thing took 10 minutes, nothing more. That is going to be it from me today. I'll go through this series over the next few weeks, and we're going to go through ink wash, watercolor, gouache, tone sketchbooks, white sketchbooks, heck, maybe even pencil. Who knows? And in the meantime, make sure to pull out your sketchbooks and get out there. If you want to see more content like this, hit that like and subscribe button down below, and maybe even comment on what you'd like to see me break down next. I've been Becky, you've been awesome, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!